Uh, Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Monday Night Introduction to Buddhism. I can see a few familiar faces and maybe some new ones. Is anyone new here? Oh yeah, okay. Very good. Very good. Okay, well, my name's Mark, so I'm an old student, as in old in age, not in experience or anything, so old student of Tara Institute. So But tonight it's Introduction to Buddhism, so it's 4 weeks, so every week's sort of self-contained, so if you miss a week, it's fine. We'll go over a little bit of what we went over last week. So first thing, at the beginning of the teachings, usually we read out the Refuge and Bodhicitta prayer. So these are bookends, so the Refuge and Bodhicitta prayer is the front bookend. If you like, how do you set your motivation at the beginning of your activity? Then for the next hour, you'll listen, you'll do some meditation, you'll think about the teachings. And then at the end, because we've generated quite a lot of merit, we dedicate it. So that's the back bookend. So you have these two bookends that sort of straddle the ends, or the ends of what happens in between. So we say that the activity that we're going to engage in for the next hour is virtuous. So we try and bring a good motivation, and that sort of sets the train, if you like, or sets the direction. So I'll just read it out and you can just ponder it. So I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the highest assembly. From the virtuous merit that I collect by practicing giving and other perfections, may I attain the state of a Buddha to be able to benefit all sentient beings. So that's the beginning prayer. So last week we covered a little bit about what refuge was, and in a nutshell we call that refuge is taking a safe direction. So it's a direction away from suffering, and it's a direction, if you like, towards happiness. So that's that part of refuge. So, and then the bodhicitta, the motivation there's from the virtuous merit that I collect by practicing giving and the other perfections, may I attain the state of a Buddha. So that's pointing out that the highest potential, particularly of a human being, is to achieve that state of full enlightenment, or Buddhahood, as we call it. So they're all good things to actually think about, because you think, well, if it's impossible to actually achieve that state, what's the point of doing all this? It's not going to make any difference. So, but in Buddhism we say, well, we've got an example of the Buddha who actually is human, achieved that state of enlightenment, and set the example for us all. So, so it does raise the question, is our need for happiness a valid need? I can see a few nods, so that's good. Okay, so His Holiness the Dalai Lama, he says that the wish for happiness is a basic human right. So there's nothing, oh no, you shouldn't be wishing for that, or that's incorrect, or it's an improper sort of motivation. So it's a human right, he says. So, and he says all beings have got that aspiration for happiness. The human beings have probably got a better chance to actually realise it. So that's very good. So we don't have to worry about, my wish for happiness is somehow not good. It's incorrect. So we can toss that idea away and just go with the idea, well, it's a basic human right for us to be happy. So when we try and achieve happiness, there are two ways that we can achieve a level of happiness. So one's primarily external, and in Australia we're quite fortunate. We have very good conditions, good education. Generally, we've got a roof over our heads. We've got support from the community, the government. We've got jobs. We've got a good level of, if you like, physical care or comfort. So as Maslow's talks about the hygiene hierarchy of needs. So we've got, in Australia, we've got a lot of that covered, that we'll have a roof over our heads, we'll have a family that cares for us, etc. We'll have all those external things there. The second part of the happiness is, well, it's the state of mind. So the first part's looking at primarily external things, and the second part's looking at having a state of mind that's happy. So in Buddhism, although we need these external factors, think about if you try and meditate, but you're starving and you haven't, it'll be virtually impossible. Huh? Wouldn't that be the case? So because your need, those immediate needs are not met. So if you've got satisfied with your food, etc., and you're comfortable, you can meditate, and you can set your mind to that. So, but in Buddhism, they say that the causes of happiness are mainly internal ones. So mainly internal. So we're not discounting external things, but we're really trying to focus on the state of mind that we have for happiness. So one of the things we'll be talking about tonight is meditation and meditation practice, and how it's good for us and good for us to help develop a state of happiness. So would anyone, I like asking questions, so would anyone like to advance what is an advantage of meditation? Are there any advantages to meditating? Fall asleep? Better sleep. Fall asleep. It was a slip of the tongue, wasn't it? Yeah, a better sleep. Yes, that's right. Yes. What's that? Still the mind. Yes, another very good one. Anyone else? Focus. Yes. Yeah. So better sleep, still the mind, and focus. So the focus. If you develop focus through your meditation, that you can carry that throughout all your activities, your relationships, your work, your leisure, whatever. You'll be much more focused, and if you're more focused, you're not driven by distraction, etc. You'll probably get more done quicker, a little bit more easily. So that's very good. Better sleep's good because a lot of us suffer from interrupted sleep or light. Some people call it light sleep. So they go into that sort of light sleep pattern, and then something wakes you, and then you can't get back. You can't drop back into sleep. So that's one of the byproducts, I say, of meditation. What's that? Yes, very good for reflection. So. In fact, we talk about the wisdom tools that we use to help us. So the first one's listening. So the second one's reflecting or contemplating. And the third one's the meditation. So those wisdom tools go in that order. You have to listen, then you have to reflect, and then you meditate finally. And then you'll find your results more meaningful with your meditation if you've done those first two steps. Yep.
I think another advantage is helping you to regulate your emotions a bit, so you have a chance to calm down and be a bit more objective about what's going on around you.
That's right. So that's a very good advantage as well, to regulate your emotions, to be aware of what's going on around you, and also it puts you a little bit more in command of your emotions, because I think that someone mentioned anger. Last week, was it the mind of anger arises? It's sort of the thought of something leading to a thought of something. It's the discursive thoughts, we call them. And then eventually the mind of anger might rise, and then you'll be so consumed by the mind of anger that whatever you're originally thinking about is lost, because the mind of anger takes over, and then you're thinking about harming someone, or harming yourself, or whatever it is. So definitely there's that advantage too. So those are things we can read about. Definitely you're going to read about, mind meditation, etc. But until we personally have some experience or taste of it, it'll probably be pretty intellectual. So that's where it's good to dive in and do some meditation, and also think about what's being spoken about, and also whether it's true or not. That's one of the Buddha's first teachings was, treat my teachings like a lump of gold. You won't just accept it on faith. You're going to be like an assayer or a test. You're going to do like a test to see if it's real gold or it's just fool's gold. Does it make sense? Does it ring true? So it's the same with the Buddhist teaching. So you have to think about whether it's meaningful, whether it's truthful, whether it actually means something to you or not. So there's no one forcing you to believe just because I'm here talking about it. So there's definitely not that. So it's up to you. So that's your own reflection. You do it, and then you decide, oh yeah, this is useful. I'll keep going with this. So the first meditation we'll do is the breathing meditation. So you can be either sitting in a chair like I am or sitting on the floor. So the most important thing is to have your back straight. So just sort of tuck under, and then in our tradition, so left hand's on the bottom and then the right hand's on the top, and then your thumbs are touching, and then your fingers, the two fingers they're pointing back towards the navel. So there's a few reasons for this, so that it promotes a level of warmth in that navel region, which is very good. It can also promote a feeling of love as well. So then if we do that, then with our arms, they're sort of a little bit, they're not tucked in like that. They're just a little bit spread, so it can allow some sort of circulation of air. And then with our eyes, we're not going to have them wide open, and we're not going to have them closed shut. We're going to have them just you're just letting a glimpse of light in. And that stops you from either being too distracted if your eyes are wide open, or can fall asleep if your eyes are shut too tightly. So just allow the impression of light in, and you're going to be breathing through your nostrils. So you close your mouth, put your tongue on your top palate, and you're just breathing in through your nostrils. So the focus of your meditation is you're going to be meditating on the mental image of the breath as it sort of goes through your nostrils. So you can visualize or imagine or feel that as you're breathing in enlightened energy. And as you're breathing out any tension or stress or worries. So let's just do that for a little while. And then we'll just focus on the sensation of the breath as it goes in and out through the nostrils. If you feel your mind's wandering, just bring it back to the sensation of the breath as it goes in and out through the nostrils. And we'll do that for a few minutes. So just when you feel ready, just bring your attention back to the room and open your eyes. So that's an example of breathing meditation. So it's in two parts. First, breathing in enlightened energy. So that can be, depending on whether you're visual, depending on what you like, that can be the energy that's coming in. So if you're a visual person, it can be lights and nectars. If you're a sort of a feeling person, it can be the feeling that it invokes in you. So but you're trying to bring it in, but the people who are good at it, there's something happening there. There's some shift, some blessing, so we say. So, and then breathing out the tension and stress. So that has a positive psychological effect. Just doing that, letting it go. So, so that's an interesting idea, isn't it? That we can breathe out our tension, stress, worries, concerns. So. And then the focus part, where we were just focusing on the sensation of the breath going in and out. So that's really trying to develop a sense of concentration. So did anyone find that really easy? Anyone? No. Yep. No, because it's quite hard if your mind's used to scattering this way and that all the time, to actually bring it in and go, I'm just going to focus on this now, this activity for a few minutes. But like anything, if we practice it, we'll get better at it. So that's the same with meditation. So for beginners, they say it's good to meditate consistently, but for a short period, very short. So a minute, stop. While it's still feeling good, then stop, and then another time do a minute, and etc. Until you get into the rhythm of it, and then stretch it out a little bit, a minute and 15 seconds, etc. So, and then over a long period of time, your mind will be naturally focused and relaxed. It'll be able to concentrate for longer. So that's very good. So. Because then all the advantages that the people mentioned will come about because of your effort and your determination. So, which is good. So, does anyone have any questions on that, on the breathing meditation? So this is just a different, more of a Buddhist spin on it, because other traditions do breathing meditation as well. So, anyone? No? Okay, I'll continue on. So this is a quote from Geshe Doga. So, a peaceful mind is a happy mind. So, having done the meditation and you've developed a level of calmness and peace, that's the foundation of happiness, because you've got the peaceful mind there. It's a happy mind. So you're not agitated at that point with anything. So you've developed a sense of there's a sense of happiness there. So for us, the challenge is to make that happy mind or peaceful mind continue once we're out of meditation. Isn't that right? Because if we could just stay in meditation all the time, then of course we'd all be. That's all we would do, but unfortunately we've got jobs and lives and families, etc., and friends, so we've got other things to do, but while we're in the meditation we can develop that sense of peace and happiness, and then we're wanting to continue that. So and that's where one of the benefits of meditation, so again having that there's a few things. So his ability to self-reflect out of meditation. So as things are happening to you, you've got that extra microsecond or second before you respond to whatever's coming your way, whether it's someone who's a competitor or you're jealous of, or someone who pushes your buttons and makes you angry. So with having done the meditation practice, you've got just that little bit of space before the jealousy arises or the anger flares up. So that's one of the advantages of meditation. It gives you that. So with these minds of anger and jealousy and attachment's another one, are there any or many advantages to those types of minds? Do they bring people happiness? No, a few people shaking their heads. Can anyone nod? Someone nod. Change just a contrary view. No. So yeah. So generally speaking, I think most people would probably understand that. Well, if you have the mind of jealousy within you, whenever those conditions arise, that someone's lauded or praised or recognised, whatever, you won't feel happy. So because you have only because you have the mind of jealousy there within you, so it's bubbling up. It colours your view. Green with green with envy. Is it jealousy green? Is it jealousy green? Green. Envy. Yes, it's similar. So. Well, unfortunately, this is just the Buddhist definition. The backstory of the mind of anger is that there's a level of hatred there that sort of precedes it. So anytime there's a level of hatred there and you've got this mind of anger that bubbles up, this is Geshe Doga's words again, it's virtually impossible, this is what he said, virtually impossible for anything good to come of that. So I'm paraphrasing him, but that's sort of what he's indicated. So and you can see that if you're consumed with that anger, if you just, because it's so quick, if you just go boom and do something, it's generally going to be a bad outcome for you and for the person. It's very hard to, like you're saying, channel. It sounds good. I'm going to channel my anger. When I was studying psychology, they came up with you've got the anger, get the pillow and whack the other person. That was the whack, and then they do the same back. So that was the sort of the idea. It does sound ridiculous, but but that's what they were saying. You got the anger, use it, boom, and then it'll be all good because you'll have released the anger and it's nothing, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that. So but with real anger, so with the anger though, because you've got that mind of hatred sitting behind it, it generally, you go, well, there's not much that comes out of it that's virtuous or positive. It's different when you're in control, because, you see parents, they tell their children, don't run across the road. They, scream it at them, and there's no anger there. It's just like a force there to just protect that child. So that's quite a different, if you like, example. Yeah. Yeah. Well, wait. See, I'd say definitely. I agree with a lot of what she's saying. So it's just a matter of whether. She's only 16 too. So it's a thing. But look, if she could convey her message without the anger, but still have the passion, maybe it would be more effective. I'm not judging her. So that's just. But yes. But if we look at just those two minds, the anger and then the jealousy and even attachment, we can sort of say, I think everyone in the room was saying it's, except for that particular point, that it was generally not a positive experience for us if we have those minds going. So So can we do anything about those particular minds that arise in us? So there's two factors at play there. So there's one's the external conditions that bring about the environment, the person, the happening for it to arise. So, well, I'll give you an example. This is an example from an old workplace. So this is I'm working there, doing a good job, I think, and all of a sudden, whoosh, there's someone there who's promoted, ahead of me and ahead of everyone else, and they've come out of the blue. So that's, if you like, the external environment has ripened, we say, for that person to get that recognition, applause, financial gain, all those good things. So, and also, from my side, for that mind of jealousy to arise. So there's two things there. So there's a dynamic happening between the external and the internal. So can I do anything about the external happening? That environment that's there and that other person? No, generally not. We can't do too much when it's like that, because it appears as though it hasn't come through any merit from from the other person's side. That, oh well, it's just, how can that be? It's sort of, that person didn't deserve that recognition, that applause or the love or whatever is the congratulations, but I do. So at that point we can't do much about that external condition, but can we do anything about the mind of jealousy at that point? What do you think we could do?
I think you can realise, analytically that you're harming yourself by having those feelings of, rage and despair and all those feelings you get in that sort of circumstance. And I think you've just got to take a longer view and try and be philosophic about what's happening. That, stay calm and think perhaps everything's working itself out for the best. So that's one of the things I would do in that circumstance. But the main thing is just to calm yourself, because if you are acting dysfunctionally in the workplace, you're not only going to miss this promotion, but if you're unblameable, you're going to miss the next one as well. People won't enjoy working with you.
Yes, that's right. So you look green. You look green to everyone else, not to you. You'll think, well, it's a perfectly valid response that I'm really upset that person got that promotion or whatever. But from other people looking at you, particularly the person who's been recognised, they'll look at you and go, oh, they're just jealous. So, and it's good if you take a step back, you go, well, okay, calm down. So the particular technique that we have in Buddhism for dealing with the mind of jealousy is the mind of rejoicing. So the mind of rejoicing has a few different aspects. So the first one is it's the direct antidote to jealousy. So, and I find it's a very good one to work on, because you can do this within the space of doing the breathing meditation. You can bring up the person who you're jealous of, and then you can rejoice in their good fortune. Rejoice. And at first it's very contrived. I'm pretending. It's a play act. It's not real. But eventually, like everything, you go some effort into it, it'll become more natural. And then what you'll notice is, out of meditation, when that situation occurs again, with same person, different person, your immediate response won't be jealousy, and it might be a pause, like this lady said, just a bit of a step back, but it might even be you rejoice in that person's good fortune. So immediately there's a couple of things happening. The other person's unbelievably happy already because they've been recognised, but they're also very happy that you're happy for them. That's a change. So, and then if you reflect back, one step back at yourself, you go, you're at that point, you're not consumed by jealousy, so you've got a level, you've got a peaceful mind, so you're happy. So that's interesting. So that's if you like, you've changed the dynamic a little bit, quite a lot actually. So you can do that with jealousy, and I find jealousy is a good one because with that rejoicing, it can become your first response for everything. So every situation, oh, you did a very good job. So that's with practice. So the second thing, and this is in Buddhism, this is the other aspect of it, is that rejoicing is the best way to accumulate lots of virtue or merit. So we spoke at the beginning about the bookend. You're going to set the motivation, go for refuge, set the motivation, and we're going to be doing something virtuous or good during the hour, and then at the end we'll dedicate it. So we're sort of, if you like, all that good virtue, we're putting it towards this fabulous motivation that we have to achieve full enlightenment. So rejoicing is the best means to generate lots of merit. Merit or virtue. So do you actually have to do all the good things to generate the result? So say there was lots of people donating towards the bushfires. It's a very good thing to do, huh? So do you actually have to donate the same amount to generate lots of merit? No. So this is the law of cause and effect at work. If you rejoice in all those beings who have donated, you get a large amount of merit from that action of rejoicing. So it's got to be heartfelt. So has anyone got any questions about that? Because that's going into the law of cause and effect and how it works and what things can magnify an action. So, no? Does anyone find that foreign or unbelievable? No? Anyway, they say that's the big, quick way to generate lots of merit is to rejoice. So, so what have we got to rejoice in? Well, I guess we can all rejoice in the rain. That's something that's not someone physically has done, but the rain has come. So immediately, I'm rejoicing that it's rain. So my mind's in a good state, and I'm rejoicing in the rain because it's putting out the fires, and it's perhaps bringing things back to life, and it's protecting all the beings that are within the area. And I mentioned last week we've got a friend in Marimbula, so she's in the, if you like, not in the fire, but can see the fire outside a window. The red, the stuff that was on the internet. There's this red vision of flames, and so she was right in the, if you like, the epicenter without being burnt. But so you go, oh gosh, but she's survived it, and hopefully with this rain, it'll help. It'll clear it away, and so rejoicing has a big impact. So on the mind of jealousy, but also in terms of generating lots of merit. And what's the advantage? Maybe it's one of for the older students. What's the advantage of generating lots of merit? Are there any advantages in generating lots of merit? Yep. Better rebirth, yes, that's a very good one. Okay, anyone else? That's a really good one actually. Better rebirth. Do you have to believe in rebirth?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to believe in rebirth for that to be a benefit, though. Yeah. So if you don't think there's another rebirth, then that advantage sort of does it work? Does it work for you? If you think, well, it's just this life. Well, if one of the advantages is a future rebirth is going to be very good, but you go, well, I don't believe that. So let's bring it more closer to home. So what are the advantages? Are there any advantages now or in the future for you by generating all this merit? Yes, Kerry? What's that? Good karma now, yes. Good karma now. So it's like a self-perpetuating font of virtue. So just build it, generate it, dedicate it, and it's there, and it'll ripen, as Kerry said, in this life, in good karma ripening. So there are two, again, this is getting a bit complicated, there's two approaches to this good karma ripening. For me, it's fabulous, good conditions, it's really good. For an advanced practitioner like Geshe Doga, when good karma ripens, he's wary of good karma ripening because it's used. That store of good karma is being utilised or used. So that's one thing. It's not infinite, if you like. So if it's all coming back, that's very good. But then if it's just being exhausted, not so good. It's a bit problematic. But it can, because your motivation is very good and where you want that energy to go is very good, your mental development can increase. Your mental happiness, if you like, can increase. So that's very good, and more quickly than if you didn't have that merit. So it's the easiest way to generate merit is rejoicing. There are lots of other ways, but that's one of the easiest ones. So if you go, I haven't got $10 million to give, but I can rejoice in all those beings who have donated. Really rejoice the good things they're doing. So I think we'll do some more meditation. So this time we'll do the breathing meditation, breathe in, breathe out, etc. And then we'll bring a real life example in our meditation in front of us. So as we've been talking about jealousy, we'll use that person. So it has to be someone real, not just a fictitious creation. So someone that actually does make you feel jealous. So let's do that. So we'll get into the posture again. So straight back, left hand on the bottom, right hand on top, thumbs touching, and then pointing back towards the navel, and then arms sort of slightly out. So just a little bit of airflow, and then your eyes just slightly open to let the impression of light, and we'll breathe in and breathe out. So just for a short time, we'll just focus on the breath in and out, and it's just to calm the mind, bring it within itself. So then visualise in front of you the person who gets recognised, gets lauded, who's appreciated for having fabulous qualities by others. And then just observe the feeling that comes up within us, that feeling of competitiveness or envy or jealousy. And then now swing it round. So instead of going with that mind of jealousy or upset, just rejoice in that person's happiness and their recognition. So then observe their response towards you, given that you're now rejoicing in their happiness or their recognition, whereas previously you were enraged with jealousy. So then gently bring your attention back to the room and open your eyes. Was it easy for everyone to bring up an example of someone real that they felt a pang of jealousy towards, or was it hard? Easy? Hard? Yeah? Okay. I think everyone's got someone they can do that for, or who does that for them, for them. So, and it's probably the same for the mind of anger as well, for someone, and attachment as well. So there's usually plenty of examples, and these emotions are not, if you like, unilateral in that they only apply to one object. So, can arise multiple times for the same person, or multiple people, multiple different afflictive emotions. So that particular meditation, so it's analytical meditation, so it's at your pace, you're doing all the directing and driving, so that's a very good type of meditation to do, following the breathing meditation, to just sort of focus you, and then you explore. And if it gets too tight or the emotion's too strong, you can just back off and go back to the breath. So that's the technique, but generally, because you're in the driver's seat, you can control it. So that's very good. So the result of that should be, next time you see that person, the first response won't be the mind of jealousy. You might have a little bit of a microsecond or 5 seconds or something, that a bit of space before that emotion might arise, or it might not arise at all. So with practice, it won't arise at all. So you'll still have a happy, peaceful mind. So which is very good. So, does anyone have any questions about that particular meditation? So you can do the breathing meditation. Generally, it's and this is Geshe Doga's advice for meditation. So he says it's better to do your meditation in the morning. What's that? Sorry, do you know why that would be? To set your day, yes, that's very good. But also there's less in the morning, there's less discursive thoughts going through your head, just in the morning. So whereas at the end of the day, generally you're racing around 1,000,000 miles an hour, and that's very good. So you're setting a good motivation, doing something like that, but also your mind's less in that discursive thought zone, so you're able to just focus a little bit more readily. What's that? In the evening, yes, but I think this is Geshe Doga's advice for beginners to do it in the morning is better, and then obviously, like if you're good, if you can do it in the morning, and then don't have to just do it in the morning, you could do it a little bit at night too. But he just made that point that it's easier because those discursive thoughts are less prevalent in the morning for us. So and then for beginners, it's to not do too long a session of meditation, like 20 minutes, an hour, 3 hours, you know what I mean. It's just like, but if you want to do it, to develop good concentration, to do very short sessions, but more of them. So a couple of minutes, 3 minutes, five. So that's the way to do it. So it's a sort of continual practice while it still keeps your mind fresh and happy. It's not a drag to do it, like it's another hour of meditation. It's like, but no, you're still enjoying it, so you're more likely to do it. So that's the way to approach it for beginners. And I mentioned last week that Geshe Doga talks about some of his students, first they couldn't do much meditation, but now they can, 20 minutes, half an hour they can go, and they're still able to focus on their object, which is very good, So they're able to go deeper into the object. So there's more insight coming because of the quality of their meditation, not necessarily the length. So that's another advantage of meditation. So you be able to focus for longer, but your insights will be more evident. The insights you'll get will be more evident. So then, with just coming back to the afflicted mind, if you have that microsecond between the environment being created for you, for that afflicted mind to arise, and you have that space where it hasn't quite arisen, you can do what that lady has suggested, the self-reflection. So you can, instead of being so consumed by oh God, look at this terrible, you can look back a bit and go, well, is that mind of jealousy arising? Okay, so, and if it is, if you can apply the antidote before it's fully, you can go, rejoice. So that can help. So the Dalai Lama's mentioned another point. This is for anger, the mind of anger. So he says, when he experiences the mind of anger, and so it sounds like he's making this up, but if you know of the Dalai Lama, you'll think, well, that doesn't sound right. But anyway, he said that when the mind of anger arises in me, and I think it's to his staff, because he's quite sharp personality. So he'll say, you're not doing that right, whatever, this one, so he'd be like that, I think, as a boss, So, but with good, no anger there. But he says when the mind of anger arises in him, he observes it. The mind of anger that's arising in him. And what he says that he notices is that when he examines it, the mind of anger in him, it loses its intensity. So at first it's all consuming, like I'm going to do something, and then when he examines it really closely, it loses its intensity. So that's very good, isn't it? Because if that really horrible mind of anger, which causes us to act quickly and do terrible, potentially do terrible things, loses its intensity, then we might not act out of harm. We might go, okay.
With the emotions that come out, anger or anything else, what's more useful, meditation or mindfulness?
Well, we've got so what's more useful for the dealing with the negative emotions? At that very moment. When it's happening?
Yeah, because it's a very good thing to say, but for him, with the years of experience, probably he might, I'm sure he doesn't get angry anymore, but
yeah, he says he did.
Find it a little bit easier compared to a big who won't realize it till next day morning.
Yes.
That's what I shouldn't have done.
Yep. So yeah. So what? Yeah. Any emotion, negative emotion. So what's useful? Meditation or mindfulness. So with the two types of meditation we've done a sort of a meditation that sort of focuses the mind, the breathing meditation, and then we've done a meditation on the afflicted mind of jealousy. So that's more of an analytical meditation. We're exploring it. So we're using a combination there, and I'd say you'd use both in tandem. They're both useful. Like one of the antidotes to anger, as well as what His Holiness said, examining, is pause. Oh, is that someone's a beeper? Sorry. Okay. Anyway, is instead of examining it and then going, oh, okay, it's disappeared, it's lost its intensity. Another one is take a few breaths. If anger, just take a few breaths. Breathe, and then what happens is when you've not when you stop breathing, but when you've taken your focus off the breathing and you look back at the object of anger, there's a slight reduction in the intensity of your feeling towards them because you've taken your attention away. So that's very psychological, but that works too. So that's another technique, if you like. So in answer to your question, I'd say you would use a combination of things. And the thing with the meditation, you're listening, thinking, reflecting or contemplating and then meditating, you're utilising all those tools, meditation, mindfulness within that. And then you'll know, after you've learnt a few different techniques, what's the best way to respond to a particular situation. So, yeah. Because if it was just, oh, well, I'll go away and meditate, you might not have the opportunity, huh? If you're in the midst of a discussion or an argument with someone, to say, well, hang fire, I'm just going to meditate for half an hour, and then I'll come back. No, you might not have that opportunity, so you have to deal with what you have to deal with. Sometimes you can. You probably read about some relationship counsellors, huh? I'll take a pause. You go into that room, have a think, relax, and then come back, and you do the same. So that does work because you've immediately. Well, I've had this all-consuming mind of anger, and now I've gone away and it's gone, and then I've come back. It's a bit better, So that does work, but sometimes you don't have the opportunity to escape, if you like. So you have to deal with it. So it's better to learn a few different techniques. So the breathing's very good, and so is the applying the antidote. You had a question?
So you're talking a lot about negative emotion and anger. What about
fear. Well, fear can be very rational. You know, I fear dying, or I fear losing my job, or whatever. So it can be, you know, it can be quite. So you go, well, that's a natural response. You can also have irrational fears too, and they can be debilitating, huh? So it's sort of like I fear stepping out of the house. That's one, isn't it? What's that? Does anyone know? Is it agoraphobia? 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 Yeah, agoraphobia. So I fear So you can imagine if you had that fear, well, you can't. It's very hard to survive, isn't it? Unless you've got friends who can. So. Oh.
Being rejected, fear of the future and what's going to happen.
Okay.
You know, there's just lots of, I guess, different takes on fear, but I think most people are in a fair bit of anxiety around some of those things.
Yes. Yeah, look, those fears are all valid. You know, I fear public speaking, or I fear, you know, being a failure, or not a good parent, whatever, all those things. But you have to, there's some way, you have to go, you have to try and, this is the technique in Buddhism, you try and turn it around and go, well, all right, can I, if am I really that bad that I'm a failure? You know, I fear being, am I really, you know, so you try and examine a little bit. What's another one? So what's another fear that you mentioned? Fear of the future. So fear of the future. So that one, again, you're looking at the external environment, whatever happens, you know, so the karma ripening. So can we control that? Yes, to a certain extent we can do something about it, but whatever's going to ripen, if it is going to ripen, we go, all right, then you have to deal with it. So you go, all right. So fear of the future. So even that one you can say, oh, it's part rational, part irrational, because whatever you're fearing might come to fruition, huh? So you go, I fear, whatever. What's a good one? Oh, I fear being homeless. This is a good one. So fear being homeless, because that's a big problem now. Older, unemployed women. In Australia, that's the demographic. They're saying, well, where are they going to live once they've retired and there's not working, and they've not got no home, or they've had a marriage? You know, there's a, if you like, a fear that's, it could be. Hmm. Yep.
So it's not dissimilar to being poison in the sense that it's an outcome that you can't control.
Yeah. Yeah, to a certain, yeah.
So what I've learned from coming here is that there's the four poisons. One of them is attachment. And I was very attached to my only child who died at 24. So after that, I think fear is a part of attachment. So where fear of getting old, that's an attachment to you. Fear of losing somebody you love, that's attachment to a person. Fear of rejection in a job, that's an attachment. So I think what I've learned from coming to the Buddhists since my son died is reducing the fear by mindfulness and accepting what is. And it reduces my anxiety because you can't control anything. And if you're attached to anything, you think, oh, I feel better now because I have this. So maybe I feel a bit better than I was feeling. But that too can
Yep.
So it's just accepting each day, each hour, and then it gets easier. Whereas if you've got to feel better, you can't do that. You just have to practice mindfulness and being in what is the best now.
Yep.
That's, I think fears are part of attachment.
Could be. Yeah, look, that's good. Like, so just with an overlay, if you're just practicing just mindfulness, as in I'm aware, really aware of what's going on, from the Buddhist context, that's not complete, not sufficient just to be mindful. So we imbue that mindfulness or that concentration with love and compassion and the wish for happiness. So there's a whole overlay of things that we put into it, so it doesn't just become, well, I'm really aware of everything around me and I'm accepting, etc. It's sort of more than that.
Yes, I realise that because
Yeah.
that's just one part of it.
Yep.
The other thing I learned that if you're suffering, you have to give to those that are suffering, so you suffer. You'll concentrate on others that are suffering, so your suffering will be less. So give to others.
Yep.
So that was just one line. I was
Yeah.
talking more about the attachment factor
Of fear.
mindfulness.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't trying to.
No. You made a good point, but I just want to make it clear that there's an overlay that we're applying. So there's a love and compassion and that positive motivation, so that whatever comes, because like you said, you can't control everything, but you can go, I can have a good heart, I can develop, I can become better, etc. All those things. And then we can then have some means of making sure our life stays in a positive direction and that we still, if you like, rolling along towards that goal of that happiness, which, as His Holiness said, it's a human right. So I think we're going to finish. So Cynthia, do you want to just mention a couple of things? Oh. Do you want the microphone?
I hope you're enjoying Monday night so far. It looks like you are this year. There's so many of you, which is wonderful to see. My name's Cynthia, and I'm part of a team that's produced a book which some of you may or may not be aware. It's called Meditation for Modern Minds, and it's a collection of the teachings on Monday night. And just listening to the last bit here, there was quite a few threads, so I wish I was writing them down. So that's actually good to sometimes have a book. And it's a collection of Monday night teachers. And it covers all the main concepts of Buddhism, and each teacher seems to teach about different concepts which resonate with them, and that's the strength of this book. All these teachers have been teaching and studying for over 20 years, either here or in India, and a range of different people. There's a monk, there's academics, teachers, a car designer, accountant. I mean, there's from all walks of life, and they're uniquely Australian. I think all the books you'll find in the bookshop are wonderful, but it's also sometimes good to get an Australian perspective. So I'll be in the bookshop if you've got any questions. It's $15.
Okay. All right. So it's past 9, so we'll finish now. So we've generated. So like I mentioned last week, we've generated a lot of merit in this 1 hour and 5 minutes. So it's very good to direct it or dedicate it. Excuse me, sorry. So when we dedicate, we're locking away that merit, protecting it, so it doesn't get dissipated, lost, etc. So that's very good. So that's a very good technique. So you can set. So this is what I try and do. So set a good motivation in the morning, and then at the end of the day, do the dedication. Obviously, if you're coming to a teaching, you'll do it within that period. But that's very good, because anything good that you've done, dedicate it. So it really gives it some impetus and some protection. And also, as we were talking about before, about the store of merit, or you're adding to it, so it's growing, and if it ripens, it'll have a positive result because it's positively generated. So that's very good. So I'll just read this out in English. So, may I quickly become Guru Lord Buddha and lead each and every sentient being into his enlightened realm because of these merits. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen never diminish but increase more and more. So thank you, everyone. So there's cake and tea in the coffee corner, so please enjoy, and hopefully I'll see some of you next week. Thank you.